This is a story of Barnet's Conference Championship season. All of the goals, all the drama, when the Bees did the business. It all began in the August sunshine at Underhill. Optimism was high, but nobody could have anticipated such a bright start from the Bees. The team was clearly in transition, with 3 summer recruits in the midfield quartet and a makeshift rear guard, and it didn't go exactly according to plan. Forest Green took the lead on the half-hour mark courtesy of Charlie Griffin, and there were a few murmurs of discontent on the East Terrace after that goal went in. But nonetheless, Barnet responded positively. Ian Hendon's long free kick upfield finding Richie Graham, who finished off with devastating aplomb. That was his debut goal following his move from Kettering Town. Graham, of course, a former Northern Ireland under-21 international and certainly making an immediate impact in EM5. Barnet then increased the lead. They had the momentum and they got plenty of bodies moving forward. It was a smart move through to Giuliano Grazioli, who managed to finish from close range. Grazioli, last season's leading goal scorer with 24, opening his account for the season in front of the North Terrace. Going up the slope, and Barnet were looking for that elusive third goal, and eventually it came. Once again, it was Grazioli, and once again with a clinical finish from close range. Next up was a trip to Farnborough Town that ended in a goalless stalemate, and after that, potentially daunting trip up north to face Halifax Town at the Shea.
Line out to Barnet. King on the ball. Seems very short on the ball. Finds Hendon. Hendon loses the ball. Well picked up there by Howell. He goes through the middle. Oh, lovely chance. Howell is past the goalie. He must score. He has. Wonderful, wonderful goal. Dean Howell after 23 minutes. Absolutely wonderful goal. Referee Hewitt, and it's a free kick to Halifax in a very, very dangerous position. Dean Howell, naturally left-footed, to take this. I wonder if this is a set piece from the training ground. Howell taking it. It's in the middle. There's no. It must be a goal. It's Moniton again. Well, the Barnet defence stood still, tried to play the offside. Offside flag did not go up, and Moniton has scored for Halifax after 34 minutes. Kicks the ball out on the halfway line. Barnet taking it forward. Good play by Sinclair. Graham. Silky skills by Graham. Very danger on the left-hand side. Taking on Ingram. It comes across and it's a goal. It's an own goal by Haslam. That was a very, very sloppy goal. Haslam, I don't know what he was trying to do at the back, but the goal under pressure here as Grazioni plays the ball to Hatch. Well out though by Monroe. Howell, you don't go backwards. Hatch, a wonderful opportunity. 2-2. Sloppy defending. Doherty is getting a real ticking off by the rest of his colleagues. He should have kicked that forward, and unfortunately Hatch presented an easy task. 20 minutes to go, and what a lovely chance, and it's 3-2 now. Grazioni has took a brilliant 25-yard lob over Dunbavin, and Halifax 2 minutes ago were winning 2-1.
A mixture of perspiration and inspiration at the Shea, then back down to business at Underhill, and an early penalty for the Bees, with Northwich captain Handyside shown the red card after unceremoniously pulling down Grazioli inside the area. A vociferous protest from the visitors, but nonetheless the referee had no hesitation at all in pointing to the spot. Then up stepped Bees captain Ian Hendon to place a ball down on the spot. Barnet's first penalty of the conference campaign, and the former Tottenham Hotspur youth product kept his nerve, he kept his concentration, and he managed to plant the ball into the back of the Victoria net, much to the delight of the North Terrace. After that, just 2 minutes later, and Dean Sinclair was on the end of an enterprising move, and he lashed home from close range. Sinclair's first goal in the black and amber, following his move from Norwich City. Moving into the second half, and 7 minutes in, Barnet were pushing players forward in a desperate bid to get a further goal, and their honest toil paid dividends when Richie Graham's cross found Liam Hatch for his second goal of the season. Barnet flying high and looking like certified title contenders at such a relatively early stage of the season. Next up was an expertly executed set-piece situation, and who got the goal? The local lad with the Italian name, making it 4. Giuliano Grazioli with a spectacular overhead kick, much to the delight of the Barnet faithful. The mood was high as Barnet headed east to Essex, and a bank holiday victory with a fine solo effort from Dean Sinclair, growing in confidence, and that was alarmingly plain for all and sundry to see, as he was the deserved match winner with a spectacular right-footed effort inside the area. Barnet finished August on top of the table, a point ahead of both Aldershot and Accrington Stanley. Into September, and manager Paul Fairclough had been busy in the transfer market. Chris Plummer was sold to Peterborough, and both Scott Tynan and Damien Batt were added to the squad. Next up was Morecambe, and with Carlisle dropping points against Burton earlier on in the day, the onus was on Barnet to take the initiative. They didn't, they conceded early on, and Morecambe were already down to 10 men. So the onus was on Barnet to take the game to the visitors, and that's exactly what they did. Barnet attacking from the left-hand side, Richie Graham putting in a fine cross, and there was Simon King, his first goal of the season, and a deserved goal for the player who had switched to a new and unaccustomed role of centre-half. Barnet, being urged on by the vociferous home crowd, pushed bodies forward, and it paid dividends yet again. Giuliano Grazioli being wrestled to the ground, and Barnet being duly awarded a penalty kick. So yet again, it was up to the skipper to take responsibility, and that's exactly what he did. Ian Hendon tucking the ball into the back of the net and charging off to celebrate. 3 minutes later, and Barnet increased the lead even further. The archway assassin moving clinically, and second time of asking, slotting in from an acute angle. His 5th goal of the season, and certainly underlying his credentials as the most prolific marksman outside of the Football League. 2 minutes later, and Grazioli was at it again, this time following enterprising play involving big forward Liam Hatch. He never gave up down the right hand side. He kept on going despite the fact that it looked as if he was chasing a lost cause, and it was his incisive cross that found Grazioli lurking with intent at the back post. A cheeky diving header from Grazioli to really put Barnet in the driving seat. 3 goals in a devastating 5-minute period as Barnet managed to blow their opponents away. The final goal arriving courtesy of Nicky Bailey, who had arrived from Sutton United. That was his debut goal in the black and amber. A trip to the West Midlands beckoned as Barnet travelled to face Tamworth, and everything went according to plan. Dean Sinclair with an expertly taken goal early on to give Barnet a deserved and justified lead. The Bees were playing some free-flowing football, using the ball with a real sense of purpose, and this resulted in a second goal, Liam Hatch juggling the ball before playing it into the path of Giuliano Grazioli. A sore instep for the leading marksman, but nonetheless another goal to his credit. In this game, Dwayne Lee was actually given his marching orders, but Barnet clung on in order to attain a vital victory on their travels and one step closer towards getting promotion. Next up was Gravesend and Northfleet at Underhill, and there was an early goal from Liam Hatch, a superb header following a well-taken set-piece routine. Hatch scoring against his former club, who had vilified his decision to leave only a season before. Barnet pushed forward, and there was an optimistic through ball dispatched from Simon Clist that found Giuliano Grazioli. He had no way of getting to the ball, but he managed to wriggle free and slid the ball home from a tight angle. Another set-piece situation worked on at the Fursfield Leisure Centre. A ball dispatched into the area, and it only came as far as Liam Hatch. A phenomenal effort, and he certainly milked the applause from the East Terrace. The rain started to fall down, but Barnet had not yet taken care of business. The rout was complete though, courtesy of a goal from Dean Sinclair. Barnet flying high and sounding out a warning to the rest of the division that they really did mean business this time around. The Kent club though managed to reduce the deficit, but it was a mere consolation effort late on. Barnet perhaps guilty of some lethargy at the back, and it was Manny Omoyinmi, a former loan recruit at Underhill during his time at West Ham United, scoring the late consolation. A sombre atmosphere at Underhill then. Nigel Class' famous father had unfortunately passed away only 2 days before this fixture, and Burton planned to prove an emotional point. Under the floodlights, Barnet managed to take the lead as early as the 14th minute, courtesy of Dean Sinclair, and everyone in the stadium assumed that it would end up in being a decidedly one-sided affair. But Burton had other ideas, and Albion staged a spirited comeback. Albion taking advantage of some decidedly indecisive defending from Barnet, and they managed to restore parity courtesy of a goal expertly taken from Talbot from close range. But Barnet responded positively and managed to string together a fluent, cohesive passing pattern involving Richie Graham. He picked up the ball on the left-hand side. He managed to switch flanks, and Barnet then surged forward collectively as a unit. The goal coming courtesy of Liam Hatch, a brave, courageous header from the former Gravesend forward. But this lead proved to be something of a false dawn 10 minutes after the break, and Burton were level again, this time Talbot with his second goal of the evening. And Barnet, well, the alarm bells started to ring. Barnet pushed forward. They were expected to take maximum points from this encounter, but on a rather bizarre evening, they ended up with absolutely nothing. Anderson on 57 minutes, sliding the ball into the back of the Bees' net, a minor blip in an otherwise impeccable start to the season. Next up was a trip north to Scarborough, and the chips certainly weren't down at the McCain Stadium. Giuliano Grazioli managing to get on the end of an incisive cross to finish from close range. Lethal precision from Graz on 19 minutes to give Barnet the lead. But Scarborough, urged on by the home crowd, managed to draw level 7 minutes after the interval. Therefore, despite two ineffectual showings from the Bees, Barnet finished September still top of the conference standings, a point ahead of Hereford United. The mood was understandably buoyant going into October, with the games coming thick and fast. 3 matches in 7 days. First up, Woking at home, but would the Bees play the cards right? An evenly contested first half, but Barnet managed to take the lead in the rain. Good work from the flanks, the ball coming in, and there once again was Giuliano Grazioli. But Woking had other plans, and they staged a fight back. Some neat work from the Surrey club. Barnet trying to clear their lines but failing to do so. And the visitors sparking off some inventive play. A neat interchange of passes, and there was a highly rated Rafael Nade to finish past Ricky Millard to give Woking the equaliser. But the Bees pushed forward. The ball was pumped optimistically into the area, was only half cleared, but Barnet kept on knocking at the door. Could they find that elusive second goal? Once again, it was propelled around the pitch, some head tennis involved, but then some foresight, some invention, and none other than Giuliano Grazioli hooking the ball over the advancing keeper to give Barnet the lead yet again. His 10th goal of the conference campaign. But even down to 10 men, the Cardinals upset the odds and snatched a point late on. On 84 minutes, former Arsenal midfielder Ian Selly managed to beat Millard with a long-range driven effort into the bottom corner of the net. Next up was a trip down to deepest Devon, St James's Park, and Dwayne Lee, with the captain's armband in the absence of Ian Hendon, responded positively against his former club with a well-taken header to give Barnet the lead. Even in the absence of Giuliano Grazioli and Ricky Millard, Barnet took care of business in a very one-sided affair in Eamon Dolan's leaving party at St James's Park. The second goal arriving courtesy of Richie Graham. But Barnet were far from finished, and this was an expert finish from none other than Dean Sinclair, completely wrong-footing the goalkeeper, much to the delight of the Barnet fans. Jubilant scenes down in Exeter. Next up, in front of the television cameras, Dagenham and Redbridge came to Underhill, with their boss, a familiar face, ex-Barnet manager John Still in charge. But Barnet took the lead very early on indeed. Ian Hendon toe-poking the ball home after just 2 minutes. Everyone presumed this local derby would be a closely contested affair, but Barnet had other ideas, making it 2, a Graham corner, only half cleared. Barnet kept on looking for the opening, and it arrived. Graham's cross coming into the area, and there was Ben Strevens, his first goal of the season, still on the transfer list, but amongst the goals. And then Lee Roach, deputising in the absence of Grazioli, assumed the mantle of chief poacher in the area with an expert finish. But the best goal of the lot arrived courtesy of Nicky Bailey. An outstanding effort, a phenomenal long-range right-footed curler into the back of the Daggers' net. The Daggers well and truly blunted, the Bees absolutely buzzing. And 3 minutes later, there was another opportunity for Barnet, pushing forward up the slope, and there was a foul on Sinclair by former Barnet left-back Lee Flynn, who was justifiably penalised by the referee, who had no hesitation at all in pointing to the spot. Flynn had a miserable afternoon on his return back to EM5. So up steps Ian Hendon. He kept his nerve, and he slotted it into the top corner of the net. Next up, the toughest test of the term so far. A trip to Cumbria and Brunton Park. Carlisle United, the opponents, and the referee ignoring the pleas of the 9,000 strong home crowd to award the Bees an early penalty. 3 minutes gone, and Barnet were awarded a spot kick. Once again, it was up to the skipper, Ian Hendon, forgotten by Sheffield Wednesday, his career resurrected at Underhill, and Barnet in the resplendent red away kit looking to take first blood. Hendon, a lengthy run up. He kept his head down. He knew where he was going to put the ball. And the rest, as they say, is history. Barnet in the ascendancy as early as the 3rd minute. On the half-hour mark, Barnet extended that lead. And once again, it was some exquisite build-up play involving Ben Strevens. His measured pass found Dean Sinclair wide on the right flank. He kept his nerve, he put the cross in, and it was an own goal from Gray. Even in the absence of Grazioli, Barnet was still amongst the goals on their travels. But Carlisle managed to claw their way back into the game. A fierce response from the Cumbrians, and in the end it was quite a fortunate rebound for Brendan McGill, but it ended up in the back of the net. To eliminate any further doubt, the set-piece specialists were at it again. Dwayne Lee with a powerful header from close range to give Barnet maximum points from a hugely important encounter, and the Bees now 6 points clear. Next visitors to Underhill were York City, but Barnet proved to be far from generous hosts. From the initial kick, the Bees dominated completely, and this was translated in the scoreline. The first goal arriving as early as the 16th minute. The ball coming in from the left-hand side, textbook play from Richie Graham, and there was Nicky Bailey to give Barnet the lead on the 16-minute mark. In heavy Hertfordshire rain, the goals started pouring in to the back of the Minsterman net. The second arriving on the 36-minute mark. This time it was a spectacular effort from Dwayne Lee. But Barnet kept pressing, they kept searching to extend the lead even further, and they managed to do so just after the hour mark with a rare goal from Ismail Yakubu. In the end, it was a relatively simple goal for the former Bees youth product, but nonetheless, he managed to tuck it away. The final goal of this very one-sided game arrived on the 74-minute mark, involving Ian Hendon bringing the ball forward. The ball was put through, and there was Dean Sinclair with a very confident piece of finishing. The victory put Barnet 6 points clear away from the chasing pack, arguably the most productive ever start in Barnet's non-league history. Into the November programme, and Barnet faced an extremely difficult trip up to Hereford.
Nick Bailey, who's found a good long ball to Grazioli. Grazioli's in the clear into the area, left foot shot, 1-0 Barnet. 4.5 minutes gone, a simple delivery. Grazioli ran through, clinical finish into the bottom corner of the net. Excellent start for the undefeated team from Barnet. It's Hereford United 0, Barnet 1. Rob Purdy now for the Bulls. Tries to get Hyde away, does so. Good ball to David Brown. Brown is on the chase. Out comes the keeper, but Brown's gone round him. He should score and does. David Brown with the equalising goal for Hereford United. Nearly 8 minutes gone here at Edgar Street. An exciting opening to this nationwide conference fixture. It's Hereford United 1, Barnet 1.
After an uncharacteristic loss against Bar City in the FA Cup, Barnet showed an ample degree of bounce-back ability. All eyes were on Barnet, expecting the top of the table side to buckle under the pressure. Cloughie's troops, however, clearly had other ideas. A rare foray upfield involving Simon King gave Barnet the lead, and quite simply, in terms of the fluency of the passing, it really was a joy to behold. Barnet showing that was just a blip in an otherwise great start to the season. King managing to score from long range with a left-footed drive to give Barnet the lead early on in the first half. Into the second half, and Barnet made it 2. Yet again, it was former Northern Ireland under-21 international Richard Graham on 58 minutes, and it was a great move as well under the floodlights, and Barnet managing to really punish some sloppy defending. And then, just moments after that, Liam Hatch finished off a blockbuster display from Barnet, thus quashing any lingering suggestions that their championship trail had come off the rails. Hatch claiming it on the line. Next up, and Hampshire was calling as Barnet travelled south. But could the shot shoot down the Bees' title dream? Just under 3,000 spectators crammed into the recreation ground, and everyone was expecting an absolute classic. Once again, the Bees did not fail to disappoint. Barnet took the lead as early as the 7th minute. A corner taken from Simon Cliss from the right-hand side, dispatched into the congested area. Hatch with a flick on, and there, once again, was the poacher supreme, Giuliano Grazioli, to give Barnet the lead. His 13th goal of the season, and once again, back on the first-team scene. But Aldershot played with plenty of purpose themselves. And after this piece of play was let to go unpunished by the referee, Aldershot pushed forward. And it was former Wycombe man Johnny Dixon with a glancing side foot finish from close range, putting the ball into the back of the net. Barnet on the travels looking for that goal, and we saw something very special indeed from the George Best of the conference, Richie Graham. Perception, nimble footwork, great awareness, and expertly taken. But Aldershot, of course, in front of their home fans, wanted to salvage something from the contest, and they managed to do just that. Barnet perhaps guilty of some lapses in concentration at the back, and ultimately they paid the price. A set piece dispatched into the area, and there once again was Dixon to finish off from close range. But despite that setback, Barnet would not give up. The Bees upped the tempo with just 7 minutes left and were rewarded with a spectacular finish from former Oxford defender Simon King. It was business as usual for the Bees, who finished the month of November 7 points clear of their nearest rivals, Carlisle United. Into December, and a chance to rack up some points at the expense of LEIGH RMI. Surely a home fixture against a rock-bottom side in the conference would translate into a mere formality. Well, not quite. Despite taking a very early lead, it turned out to be a nerve-shredding 90 minutes. Giuliano Grazioli managed to score just after 2 minutes, a well-placed header, his 14th goal of this season. But it didn't quite go according to plan after that, and LEIGH adopted the role of chief upsetters at Underhill. The first goal on the 15-minute mark came after Dwayne Lee was judged to have handled inside the area. Barnet appealed. Those protests were waved away. Scott Tynan tried to make himself big. He tried to keep the ball out. But nonetheless, Carl Rose knew exactly what he was doing. And after a discussion with the referee and the replacing of the ball, had a shot in mind. Expert finish from Rose. Barnet stunned, and it got even worse for the home team. For some reason, Barnet pushed forward, left themselves exposed at the back, and there was a second goal courtesy of Gareth Stoker. 2-1 up at the break, and suddenly the alarm bells were ringing loud and clear in EM5. But Barnet managed to get back into the game, and there was a vital equaliser. After some good build-up play, Barnet throwing plenty of bodies forward into the area, desperately searching for a way back into the game. Remember, if Barnet had lost, it could have opened up the way through for Carlisle to get back into the title race. A long throw from the left-hand side, and Barnet was surveying their options. It was short in the end. It came back out to the flank. It was laid back, and there was Nicky Bailey, that right foot remaining an instrument of precision as he drove the ball back into the Leigh net, and Barnet were back in business. Then it was just a matter of time as Barnet tried to go for the winner. They realised that this could open up a 10-point gap between themselves and the Cumbrians, and the ball came in, and there was none other than Lee Roach, a product of Barnet's youth system. He finished off deep into stoppage time to give Barnet a dramatic finale, an adrenaline-charged conclusion to proceedings, and ideal preparation for the next test on the fixture list, an away trip to Crawley. And Liam Hatch from the right-hand side, his inviting delivery and an acrobatic finish from the leading marksman Giuliano Grazioli. That was his first of the evening. He ended up adding to his tally for his 16th of the season. But Crawley, in front of a vociferous home crowd at the Broadfield Stadium, managed to get back into the game after the restart. Davidson with the goal on 68 minutes. Perhaps, in all truthfulness, looking back, Barnet could have dealt with this cross better, but in the end, it ended up in the back of the net, much to the delight of the home crowd. So the onus was on Barnet to once again seize the opportunity, to rise to the occasion, and it was up to Dean Sinclair to shatter the Red Devils' previous unbeaten home record. And what a finish it was too. One for the scrapbook for the former Canary, who certainly is loving life in the black and amber of the Bees. Then on to Kent, and yet further drama in Barnet's pursuit of the title.
Free throw in by Gledhill. You'll get another chance. Into the box it goes, chested down. It's Omniimni working his way into the area. Omniimni's going really well. Fleet of foot, it's across the line, and it's gone in off Yakubu. The quick feet of Omniimni has undone the Bees here at Stonebridge Road. It's 14 minutes gone at Stonebridge Road, and Gravesend and Northfleet have taken the lead. It's gone in off Yakubu, but Omniimni will try and claim it for his 7th goal of the season. What a upturn in fortunes. Fleet have taken the lead. Gravesend and Northfleet 1, Barnet 0. Pumped out now by Hendon to Grazioli. Fleet are equal to it, but it's dropped to Graham. Lovely first time right-footed pass, knocked forward by Grazioli. Here's the goal, it's the equalising goal for Liam Hatch. Hatch with the equaliser. Barnet are back on level terms. It's 1-1 here at Stonebridge Road. Bailey races forward onto the left foot. He doesn't really favour his left foot. Tried to stroke it with the outside of his right. It didn't come off. Here's Lee. Lee to Hendon, right side. Hendon pumps it to the far post. Up goes Hatch with the header. There's Bailey. It's 2-0. Barnet are on the charge. They're working their way back. Their unbeaten record seems to be intact away from home. Nicky Bailey was on the end of it. Toe poked it home from no more than 6 yards out. And Barnet have taken the lead. Fleet 1, the Bees 2. In the second half, if you were a Gravesend and Northfleet fan, you'd like to see your players getting stuck in a little bit more. Here's Bailey on the overlap for Barnet. Low cross into the area. What a tremendous goal for Barnet. Excellent work on the right by Nicky Bailey, and it's been forced home by Dean Sinclair. for the third Barnet goal.
The week before Christmas, and on top of Barnet's wish list, 3 valuable points. Surely Tamworth, in mid-table mediocrity, would succumb to Barnet's invincible form. Unfortunately, the Lambs didn't exactly get slaughtered. An early goal on 23 minutes from Whitman, a minute after Simon King had been shown a straight red card for a professional foul. Barnet realised that down to 10 men, they were really up against it, and without the hugely influential King at the back, Tamworth started to make their numerical advantage count. A set-piece situation, and there was Taylor with a header from close range to give Tamworth an unsurmountable lead after just half an hour of play. Barnet fans could not believe what was happening, but Tamworth, influenced by former Underhill crowd favourite Matthew Redmile, were far from finished, and they intended to heap further misery on their hosts. Yet another breakaway goal for the Lambs on the 53-minute mark. Taylor finishing with precision to reduce Barnet's lead at the top of the conference to just 10 points. After a couple of unproductive results, it was back down to business at Underhill. Scarborough, the opponents, and Barnet were pressing for that all-important winning goal. A throw-in taken by the captain Ian Hendon, searching for a black and amber shirt inside the Borough area. The ball was pumped into the box, only half cleared, and then went out to the left-hand side, where Simon King put the ball in. A lunging finish from Lee Roach. Maximum points for Barnet. An extremely vital win for the Bees, and left the Sea Dogs feeling decidedly seasick at the final whistle. Barnet finishing on a high note in 2004, still 11 points clear. Into 2005 and local derby time at Underhill. A midday kick-off, and in front of the television cameras, everyone was asking who would be crowned the Kings of Hearts. Would it be the Bees, or could it be Borough? Barnet, of course, looking for revenge following that defeat during the festive period at Broadhall Way. They were focused, they were committed, they were searching for that elusive win against the old enemy. The ball found its way to Ben Strevens on the centre circle. His optimistic through ball found Giuliano Grazioli, who clipped it past the advancing figure of Woodman to give the Bees the lead. Gratz scoring against his former club. But Borough managed to find a route back into the game. Just 4 minutes after the break, and Simon Weatherston finished from close range. Barnet realised that this was now do or die, that they could control their own destiny, and in actual fact move 13 points clear of the rest of the division. It was still all to do though, and deep into the latter stages of the game, on the 87-minute mark, a Barnet free kick was for some reason palmed away by goalkeeper Andy Woodman, who wasn't under pressure. For some reason he needlessly surrendered a corner. That's what Barnet were looking for, and they realised now that in order to secure derby glory, they needed to get plenty of bodies into the box. That's exactly what they did. The corner was delivered in. There was Ismail Yakubu with a great header. Remember, he made his senior Bees debut against Borough, and now he was contributing to a memorable win against our Hertfordshire rivals. A great win for the Bees, who then moved 13 points clear.
Out onto the right it goes with Hendon now. Onto his left foot, crosses, catches the win, and it's gone in! All the way in from Hendon. Jalal missed it, and it's found its way to the corner of the net. Barnet take the lead here at Kingfield. It's Woking 0, Barnet 1.
Well, it's that wind again, isn't it? The in-swinging kick there from Hendon, and Lee Roach stole in there in front of the keeper, unsighted him, flicked it in the net.
To display, he was marked by 2 Barnet men there, but On the corner, here's Selly with that corner, up to the far post, a header by Smith, and it's there, the equalising goal, and it's Luke Oliver who's got it here at Kingfield, unmarked as that ball dropped, and he's forced it over the line, Woking are back on level terms.
Yeah, it was coming, wasn't it? You could see it a mile off, and as we said before, this game is far from over, and all credit to them, they deserve the goal. Brilliantly put home by Luke Oliver. In fact, he had to go down on his knees and then powered it into the roof of the net.
After the points at Woking, next up were Exeter, fresh from giving Manchester United a huge scare in the FA Cup, but they weren't going to cause any further surprises at Underhill. Giuliano Grazioli with his 19th goal of this season from close range. After a 1-1 draw at Burton Albion, Barnet finished the month 17 points ahead. Into February, and title fever was beginning to sweep through Underhill, but had Barnet actually done enough? Not exactly. It was far from mission accomplished. Next up, Hereford.
Kerry Bertram's been played in here. Great chance for Kerry Bertram. Bertram scores! Kerry Bertram scores! Great finish. 7 goals in 8 games to Kerry Bertram. And his strike has stunned Underhill here. She'll try and take quickly. Here's Strevens holding the ball, gives it to Hendon. Last throw of the dice here from Barnet. You feel. Here's Lee. Oh, he gives the ball away. Oh, and suddenly Stansfield's onside here. Stansfield could wrap it up for Hereford. He goes round Tynan and Stansfield scores. Goal number 12. And it's a great ending to this game for Hereford, who to have finished the stronger side, and didn't he take it well?
After back-to-back defeats, people were questioning Barnet's nerve going into the run-in. Next up was Aldershot at home, and it was a real team effort, everyone pulling their weight in the black and amber. Nicky Bailey's pass then found Dean Sinclair, who in turn played in Richie Graham down the left-hand side. It was his clever, intricate wing work that then led to the ball being played to the back post, and Ben Strevens finished with his second goal of the campaign. The longest serving player on the Bees books, responding when it mattered. The Bees really fired up for this fixture, perfectly illustrated by captain Ian Hendon's celebration. But Barnet were far from finished yet again, looking to take the initiative in front of an expectant home crowd against much fancied opposition. And this time they had to break down the shots. Remember, Aldershot, one of the best supported teams in the conference, but Barnet managed to tear them apart. Classic play from Graham, a flighted cross, Grazioli with a clinical finish. Barnet silencing their doubters. The fans were really enjoying this one, a memorable occasion for Barnet, but Aldershot managed to get something from the game. A consolation effort on the 61-minute mark, courtesy of a goal from Robinson. But by then, Barnet clearly had done enough in order to secure maximum points and take one significant step closer towards a championship. Despite a faltering February, Barnet maintained a fantastic 14-point lead at the top of the table. Moving into March, and everyone believed that the Football League dream would become a reality. But yet another lacklustre away day display, this time at the Kit Kat Crescent, ultimately proved to be quite costly. The Minstermen taking the lead courtesy of a goal from Donovan deep into first half stoppage time. Memories of that woeful away showing at Accrington at the forefront of everyone's minds going into the second half. Could Barnet respond? Well, the Bees managed to restore parity courtesy of a goal from Giuliano Grazioli. But in all truthfulness, his 22nd of the season was the only real highlight to emerge from this trip up to Yorkshire. York employed a siege mentality against the runaway leaders. They were the underdogs and they clearly relished that role, thus sealing maximum points on the 68-minute mark. A well-worked move, and there was Maloney to steer the ball into the back of the Barnet net. Were the cracks beginning to show? Well, Barnet needed to respond positively at the first available opportunity. Next up was the relatively short trip across the Pennines, this time to face LEIGH RMI. LEIGH had caused a few surprises at Underhill. Would it be the same old story? Well, not exactly. Giuliano Grazioli with the opener on 37 minutes. Barnet then, of course, were looking for that elusive second goal, and it arrived on the 56-minute mark. Liam Hatch with the goal. Once again, always showing his absolute delight when the ball hits the back of the net. Barnet then were looking for that third goal, and it came yet again from Giuliano Grazioli. Back to winning ways, and next up was Crawley Town at Underhill. Barnet took the lead in this game, courtesy of Dean Sinclair, in the opening minute of play. Barnet started off very brightly indeed. The ball came into the area, and there was Sinclair to tuck his effort into the bottom corner of the net.
A goal line clearance from Anthony Charles, then a shot from Alan Tate, and then Barnet breaking forward at the other end, and Streven's insertion in the Crawley half has led to a free kick, which will be taken by Dan Strevens. Swung in, looking for Hatch at the back, and Hatch at the back post. That's a great goal from Liam Hatch. That is a tremendous header. Well, he has been tremendous in the air this afternoon. Two back post headers from corners in the first half. Here's Simon Clist. Can he deliver a good cross from this corner? Here's a good one, and it's Hatch with a header and a chance, and it's in from Dwayne Lee from close range. And I wonder now whether the floodgates will open. Liam Hatch, of course it had to be Liam Hatch, causing all sorts of trouble in the air as he has done all afternoon.
After two successive 3-0 victories, next up was a game against troubled Farnborough. This one had all of the ingredients of a goal fest, but it didn't go exactly according to plan, to begin with anyway. Farnborough taking the lead against the run of play as early as the 6th minute, an expertly taken free kick from their captain Jay Smith. But little did anybody realise what was about to unfold. Grazioli made it 1-1. Just look at this goal. Arguably the cheekiest ever scored at Underhill. Then, just 7 minutes later, Grazioli made it 2-1. One goal was sheer cheek, the other sheer class. Contrasting goals from the best striker in the conference. Then on 34 minutes, Ben Strevens made it 3-1. The ball coming in, and the Edgware ball midfielder finishing with clinical precision. Then, just prior to the break, Grazioli made it 4 to complete a first half hat-trick for the former Peterborough United front-runner. Into the second half, and Damien Batt got in on the act. The ball coming in, and Batt alert to the ball and striking it into the far corner of the net. A fine finish. into the latter stages of the game and Farnborough were down and out. Barnet piling on the pressure, searching for more goals, and they duly arrived. Roach with a goal on 82 minutes. Lee Roach yet again amongst it inside the area. And then deep into stoppage time, it was the magnificent 7. This time Dean Sinclair, and Barnet absolutely buzzing going into the final furlong of the campaign. Could anybody realistically catch them after this? After a 2-0 win at Forest Green, Barnet entertained CANVEY Island in EM5. The match winner, yet again, Ben Strevens on the 58-minute mark. One solitary goal dividing the two teams, but it was a very special effort from the former Wingate and Finchley forward. Good work from Graham, the ball coming in, and Strevens finishing off. A masterclass from him. Barnet finished the month 18 points clear. Could anybody get anywhere near them with only a month to go? Into April, and Barnet were on the brink of securing the championship. Mathematically, the Bees could seal the title in their next match. Over 1,000 Bees fans travelled north to Witton Albion to see Barnet take on Northwich Victoria, but unfortunately it proved to be something of a false start. Northwich taking the lead on the 50-minute mark courtesy of a header from Brayson. The nerves started to shred as the game went on. Could Barnet manage to secure a passport through to the Football League after a 4-year absence? Unfortunately, it was to be delayed. Victoria scoring their second goal on 72 minutes. Once again, it was Brayson. Our next chance to clinch promotion would be against Halifax Town at Underhill. Our match commentator Danny Murray was there.
Full house here. You just feel, but that's it. Error by Simon King. Zach Keelan with a shot. Good save by Tynan. It's turned in. It's turned in. Lewis Keelan with his 12th goal of the season. And that is a shock for the Barnet faithful here. Here's through. Sinclair. Finding Hatch. Hatch gets his shot in. Falls for Grazielli. Grazielli finds Strevens. Great chance for Strevens. That's it! That's it from Ben Strevens! That's it! Clinical finish. Nearly worked, and he wasn't going to miss from 8 yards, and that goal has sent Underhill into absolute ecstasy. Who's worked miracles, it has to be said, this year. Big cross, beaten away by Scott Tynan, might fall for Liam Hatch. Trying to square up a shot, crosses it, and it's King, and that's a goal! Simon King, and how ironic that Simon King, the man who's an error for the first goal, should be the man to head Barnet in front. Liam Hatch worked the opportunity wonderfully well, and how sweet for Simon King. Here's Hatch. Looking to make this, put this result beyond doubt. Here's Grazielli, that's the one! That surely is it now! And it had to be that man, Giuliano Grazielli, puts this result in doubt. In absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Liam Hatch turns provider for the second time in the second half. His neat footwork at the front post. Then a cross, which found Grazielli. And it was really never in doubt from Grazielli there. And that's it. The champions have won. Barnet FC are the champions of the conference. The champagne is out, it's on the pitch. They've done it, they've beaten Halifax Town by 3 goals to 1. They've gone ecstatic down below us. The crowd have gone ecstatic too. The Barnet fans all in a huddle, Scott Tynan is swinging champagne. The press are on the pitch, the Sky cameras on the pitch. They're absolutely gone ecstatic, the Barnet players down below us. The chairman is on the pitch. The champagne has been sprayed. Barnet are champions of the conference. They've won here by 3-1. Ben Strevens equalising midway through the second half, and then goals from Simon King, a diving header in the second half, and then Giuliano Grazioli, had to be him, scored the winner. And the party will go on long into the night here at Underhill.
So back in the Football League after a 4-year absence, but it was back to fulfilling the rest of the conference fixtures. A goal from Liam Hatch on 27 minutes gave the Bees the lead at Morecambe. Barnet, of course, looking to maintain the standard that had been set all season. But Morecambe was searching for an equaliser. And it arrived on the 57-minute mark, courtesy of Elam. And Barnet, of course, already having secured the title. So on to the final game of the season at Underhill. Against Carlisle United, our closest rivals in the conference for the entirety of the campaign, there was a real party atmosphere within the stadium. Everyone expectant, hoping to see the trophy. But Carlisle proved to be party poopers to a certain extent. A goal from Magno Vieira on 31 minutes. But nonetheless, Barnet was still buoyant and upbeat, and understandably so. Everyone was looking forward to the championship party that would follow the full-time whistle. And what a way to celebrate, because the final kick of the game, a spectacular overhead kick from none other than Giuliano Grazioli. After the high drama of the 1-1 draw against Carlisle United, the party was in full swing at Underhill. Captain Ian Hendon went up to receive the trophy. He'd led the team from the first game back in August through to the end of this incredible journey in April. Barnet, Conference Champions for 2005. We're on our way to the Football League.
Barnet players parading the trophy around to the loyal Bee supporters. Scott Tynan with the trophy, brought in on a free transfer as cover for Gore, and ended up being the first choice for the season. Noise and applause from the East Terrace there. Simon King started the season at left back, moved to centre back. Absolutely outstanding all season and worthy winner of the Young Player of the Year award. Player of the season with his captain Gratz and Hendon together, looking forward to life in League Two. What a bargain he's been. Free signing from Norwich. Outstanding. And no man deserves it more than that man. Tony Cleanthus has put his heart and soul into the club. And there are the two men who've made it happen this year. The chairman and the manager.
Early and Hatch in the middle, Ben Strevens. Nice ball, reverse pass into King, great shot from King, great save from Phil Smith. Ball to Campbell, cross, just for Shirley! Great goal!
Now when I see those heroes in black and amber playing, my heart it starts a dancing, I could watch them play all day. Giuliano Grazioli, he keeps on scoring goals. With Ginger Bailey in midfield, we'll never need full goals. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They give me such a thrill. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They play at Underhill.
Chris, nice turn from him. Let the ball do the work, lovely there. Into Hendon. Hendon crossing the halfway line. Towards Grazioli, takes that ball down. Great chance for Grazioli. That's a great goal from Giuliano Grazioli.
Now charging through the middle, Ben Strevens is a sight, and clever balls from King Lopez give other teams a fright. Kingy, Plums and Hendo, they give all strikers hell. Ricky Millard watches goal, we've got Shankar as well. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They give me such a thrill. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They play at Underhill.
Corner swung in, beaten away. Here's McNamee, find that ball in. Grazioli's on his own. Oh, he scored! Well, Barnet might be back in this game. Great chance of Grazioli, lifts the goal. That is a tremendous goal from Giuliano Grazioli.
So, if you come to Barnet, just remember you must cheer. The fans and staff and Tony K will make you welcome here. And let's hear your support now. Sing up for the Bees. Come on, shout, you know you can, for this special team. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They give me such a thrill. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They play at Underhill. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They give me such a thrill. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They play at Underhill. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They give me such a thrill. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. Ay, 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 la Barnet. They play at Underhill.